on three. 1, 2, 3.
Win!
The alley-oop!
Welcome to the Aaron Landon Show. I'm Danny DeBock alongside Associate Head Coach Tyler Velasquez. And Tyler, it was a difficult week with two tough losses this past week, losing to Western Washington and Simon Fraser. What were some of the positives that you could take away from a week like this one?
Yeah, I mean those are two really tough losses, both buzzer beater losses. I think the biggest thing we can take away from those games is learning that we can lose to anybody. Like I said last week on the show, every GNAT game is a tough one. So we gotta come in ready, and every time we play, we gotta be ready to play. So.
Hey, and it was a game on Thursday where you got to see Diego Trejo Delgado have a solid effort, 18 points. I'm sure a few good takeaways from his performance that evening. Yeah,
he's been really solid just all year long. He needs to figure out how to continue to grow as a player. He's a freshman that's had a lot of success, especially early on. He competes and plays really hard, but we need to continue to see him grow as a player, and that'll obviously elevate our team as a whole.
And then what did you learn about the game against Simon, where you saw a lot of consistent scoring but no one that stood out?
Yeah, that one, Simon Fraser's always been a strange place to play for us. Our travel was, real strange. But just the game in general, it had a weird energy just for us, and how I felt about us being on the floor, especially early on. We came out like we were just ready to win a game, and thought it would just happen without even going that hard, and sort of bit us. So that one was a real big learning lesson. We've been fortunate to play in a bunch of close games this year, and the majority of those we've come out on top. So we know how to win close games. We just didn't this weekend, and that's a part of basketball. That's a part of, like I said, playing in a tough league. So we just got to take those losses on the chin, figure out how to be better. I got to figure out how to prepare us better, and then go into these next few games.
So what has been the focus in practice this week?
Yeah, the biggest stuff for us is just focusing on our defense. We have so many talented players. Just our style of play offensively sort of trends in a more free-flowing direction with allowing guys to sort of play to their strengths. Defensively, we play a bunch of different defenses, and so we just need to continue to spend time every single day repping out all of our defenses, and giving them a bunch of different looks that are going to happen in the upcoming games. So that's mostly what this week is about, is just figuring out how to defend, figuring out how we're going to be attacked by our upcoming opponents, and focus on that.
Let's look at those upcoming opponents. Central Washington, a team that has 4 great scorers. Kevin Holden stands out especially for the Wildcats. What's it going to take to defend against this Central Washington team?
Yeah, they are really talented, probably the most talented team in the league. They have a ton of firepower, so him specifically, if he gets going, they're really, really tough to beat. He's shooting pretty insane splits right now. we got to be really, really tough on ball, just starting with our guards. That's the front door of our defense, and they got to step up and answer that challenge.
It'll be a tough test against Central Washington Thursday at 7:30 and Pack the Pav night, and it's a case where the home crowd definitely will be loud in support for the Saints, but Coach, for you, how big is it to have the home crowd behind you?
Yeah, it'll feel good. I mean, we were on the road for 2 weeks in a row, so it'll feel good to have a home crowd get back into our gym. Feel like we didn't shoot the ball great over the past 2 weeks, so hopefully being at home that can bring us back around. And always having the support always makes the guys just feel a little more energized and excited. It's obviously, they're sitting in first place in the league right now, or tied in first with NNU, but that'll bring some extra juice to the game.
Should be a fun one on Thursday night, and then on Saturday against Northwest Nazarene. Kai Dixon, one of the best scorers in the conference. How are you going to defend him?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know yet. We'll have to figure that out once we move on from Central. We're going to take this one game at a time. Kai Dixon, I think, is probably the best player in the league. Just sort of all around. He does a little bit of everything. Impacts the game on both ends of the floor. So that'll be a tough matchup, as it's been for everyone in the GNAC all year long. So we gotta figure that one out, but we gotta just focus on Central right now, and then we can move on to that one next.
Focus on Central on Thursday before Northwest Nazarene on Saturday, but also a look at the locker room. Who are some of the leaders that stand out on this team?
Yeah, I think our program over the past really 3 or 4 years has been, if you just look at our box scores, it's super, super balanced. And I think that shows how we are from a leadership standpoint as well. There's so many guys that do different things with different types of leadership. Skinny is his own type of leader. He's your point guard. He's got to be our captain, our quarterback, all of those things. But you also have Marcel, Miles. Those two dudes are very different personality-wise, and they bring a different voice to the team. So, yeah, we're sort of balanced in that way from our leadership standpoint. I wouldn't say there's one or two guys that lead the group. I think we try and push everyone in that direction to grow their voice and be willing to step up and talk. So I think that's where we're at with our group and our locker room, and I think it's gone well for us so far.
Gone well, and this is a long haul of a season, and when you go from game to game, how does the balance fit with putting a game behind or a bad weekend in the rear view and then moving on? What does it take to do all that? Because it seems so easy to look back and realize how close the games were, but then again, there's still more games down the stretch. How do you guys overcome that?
Yeah, that one's a real tricky one because you don't want to just move on from a loss. You need to address it. You got to put it in front of guys. I told guys after the Simon Fraser loss that this weekend we needed to look in the mirror and look at ourselves and take a good look at ourselves for a good amount of time. It's not something we can show or fix in one day, but we need to look at our deficiencies and address them. You can't just blow past a loss. There's a reason why you lose, and there's a bunch of learning lessons in there on how to get better and how to fix those things. So that's sort of what we've been doing the past few days, is taking a look in the mirror. At the same time, you can't beat yourself up too much. You want to, look at yourself, but also recognize one bad weekend, as bad as that can feel, you also can look back at the body of work that we put together and still feel really, really confident in who we are as a group, and know that in basketball, anything can happen. So one game, 2 games, the last time we lost before this weekend was 2 games back-to-back. So that's where we're at now, trying to come back off of 2 back-to-back losses, and we'll figure out if we can answer that challenge or not.
The call will be on Thursday against Central Washington, with tip-off scheduled a little after 7:30. Should be a fun one from Pack the Pav night. But for Associate Head Coach Tyler Velasquez, I'm Danny DeBock saying so long and take care. And as always, it's a great day to be a Saint.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.